Hey, welcome to Building Thriving Teams. I'm Tim Bartlett. Today I want to talk about advancing your mission, and I want to start with a story about myself. I remember when I first entered the corporate world more than 10 years ago. I was a new executive manager, and I had just come off of extensive training to learn my role, and I was already pretty good with people, and so I got off to a pretty good start. I had a great team, and we were doing really well by all company standards. We were improving quality, we were driving sales, we were cutting costs, the team was happy. But I realized that I had very little to do with that success. You know, every task, every metric that we were trying to achieve was, for me, just that, a task and a metric. It was just something that needed to get done, something that the company said was important, so I was going to do it. Something that I knew in some way, shape, or form, was connected to how I was going to be reviewed or how my team was going to be reviewed, and that was kind of the extent of it. That was the understanding I had at the time. The reason that we were as successful as we were is because I had an amazing team leader who directly supervised the employees, and for this team leader, those tasks and metrics that were just items on a report for me, for him, they really were the way in which we carried out our mission. And this mission was one that he embraced and one that he took pride in. Not only did he do that, but he really helped his other employees understand that as well, and help them develop a sense of pride in what the mission was. See, that's why we were as successful as we were. And sure, I was there working alongside with them. I was there making sure things got done. And, I'm a competitive person and I want to achieve great things. And so I was driving for great results, but it really came from a different place. And after I left that role, they continued to do well because they all understood and embraced that mission. See, even though I was the executive manager, this team leader was actually way ahead of me as it relates to understanding the role that a mission plays and how important it is that your team gets it. Because if your team understands it and embraces it, then they can advance that mission, even beyond what I could do myself. See, all the training that I got didn't really prepare me for that particular element of leadership. I learned all the hard skills I needed, and again, on top of the people skills I may have already had, the relational skills, I certainly learned some of that as well, and I learned a lot of policy and procedure. But what I didn't get trained on was just how important it is to understand for yourself what that mission is, and then how to lead others in that. How to really demonstrate or live out the purpose of what you're doing, the purpose of that mission, and then really help each of your employees or each of your volunteers connect to that mission in a personal way so that they too take pride in that mission and they too want to see that mission move forward. So let's use Starbucks as an example. When you're an employee with Starbucks or you're being trained as a barista, you're going to get trained on all kinds of very specific and quite frankly some very strict policies, regulations, and tasks. You're going to be trained on very specific beverage temperatures, very strict cleanliness standards, sequences in making beverages, just to name a few. And this could be just a huge to-do list, right? Just something that has to get done and something you have to kind of work through if you're an employee. And that is a very real danger for not just Starbucks, but any organization for that matter, when there's all these regulations or there's all these procedures that you need your employees to follow. If it's just viewed as a list of tasks, then at most what you'll get is compliance. You'll get sheer compliance, and that's because they've been told that they need to do that, or they're going to do it so that they don't get in trouble, right? But what you're looking for from your team, and this is for any organization, whether you're a small business, large business, a nonprofit, what you need from your team is commitment in order to really see that vision or purpose of your organization move forward. See, I don't think any leader is hoping to get the minimum expectation from their team. I think every leader wants to see their team really reach their full potential and go for not just the minimum, but exceed any expectations that you or your organization or the world may have on you. And it also shifts their perspective on the role that they play as well. They begin to see a greater purpose, a greater mission, and how they play a role in that. See, when an employee at Starbucks ceases to see those lists of tasks and routines as merely a list of tasks and routines and sees it as a way to achieving a greater purpose, they begin to value those tasks and routines differently. They begin to see those as not just something that has to get done because someone said so, but something that needs to get done in order to deliver on the mission that they've been asked to deliver on. And for the Starbucks employee, that mission isn't to serve great tasting coffee. It isn't to provide just a clean environment. It's not to provide a beverage that is just the right temperature. Though those things are important, see, a Starbucks employee understands that their job is to inspire the human spirit, one person, one cup of coffee, and one neighborhood at a time. You see, that's Starbucks' mission, is to inspire the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear that, I'm inspired by that, right? Who doesn't want to be a part of inspiring the human spirit? And it speaks to what the company values. It speaks to certainly the value of the individual, so the customer. It speaks to the value of the quality of the coffee, certainly. And it speaks to neighborhood, it speaks to community and wanting to actually make a difference. You see, when the employees of Starbucks buy into this, their job ceases to be just a list of tasks, but really a way that they're able to carry out this mission. They embrace that. They want to see it advance, and that's why you should hopefully see, at least, when you're in a Starbucks, you tend to see a very consistent level of service and a very consistent drink at that because of all those things. So now when I think about that compelling mission of Starbucks, when I walk in, I don't see a latte just as a latte or a customer just as a customer. I see the drink as perhaps the fuel for a creative connector who's working on a solution to the refugee crisis. I see the tables and chairs as a place where people can come together and enjoy each other's company. A place where they can work together on an environmental project, or perhaps they come to study together for a nursing exam. So regardless if you're leading your own organization or perhaps you're leading within a greater organization, it's so crucial to understand and embrace the mission of that organization. And as a leader, it is vital for you to ensure that your team is understanding, is embracing, and is connected to that mission as well. See, every leader wants commitment, not just compliance. You want your team to not just do the work, but to advance the mission. If you've got any thoughts, comments, or questions around this particular topic of advancing a mission and helping your team understand and embrace that mission, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at TimBartlett.me, where you can subscribe to this blog. Every week, you'll get great insight on how to build a thriving team for you and your organization. So we'll see you next time.